Effects of thoughts on health and body. The body is the servant of a mind. It obeys the operation of mind, whether they be deliberately chosen or automatically expressed. At the beginning of unlawful thoughts, the body sinks rapidly into disease and decay at the command of glade, and the beautiful thoughts it becomes clothed with usefulness and beauty. Disease and health, like circumstances, are the rooted in thought. Sick thoughts re-express themselves through a sickly body. That's true. Thoughts of fear have been known to kill or manage as speedily as the bullet, and that they are continually killing thousands of people just as surely do less rapidly. The people who live in a fear of disease are the people who get it. Anxiety quickly demoralizes the whole body and lays it open to entrance of disease, while impure thoughts, even if it's physically indulged, will sooner shelter a nerve system. Okay, impure thoughts, right? Strong, pure, and happy thoughts build up the body in vigor and grace. Strong, pure, and happy thoughts. The body is delicate and a plastic instrument which responds readily to the thoughts by which it is impressed, and the habits of thought will produce their own effects, good or bad, upon it. Okay, read again. Strong, pure, and happy thoughts build up the body in vigor and grace. The body is a delicate and plastic instrument which responds readily to the thoughts by which it is impressed, and habits of thought will produce their own effects, good or bad, upon it. Men will continue to have impure and poisoned blood. Hmm. So long as you propagate unclean thoughts, out of a clean heart comes a clean life and a clean body. Out of the defiled mind proceeds a defiled life and a corrupt body. Thought is a fount of act, life and a manifestation. Make then a fountain pure, and all will be pure. Change of diet would not have a man who would not change his thoughts. When a man makes his thoughts pure, he no longer desires any impure food. Oh, that's true. Mm, Clean thoughts make clean habits. Clean thoughts make clean habits. The so-called saint who does not wash his body is not a saint. He who has strengthened and purified his thoughts does not need to consider the malevolent. Hmm. If you would perfect your body, guard your mind. If you would renew your body, purify your mind. Thoughts are malice, envy, and disappointment, despondency, rob the body of its health and grace. Okay. If you would perfect your body, guard your mind. If you would renew your body, purify your mind. A sore face does not come by chance, it is made by sore thoughts. Wrinkles that more are drawn by folly, passion, pride. Hmm. I know a woman 96 who has a bright, innocent face of a girl. I know a man well under middle age whose face is drawn into harmonious contours. The one is the result of a sweet and sunny disposition. The other is the outcome of passion and discontent. As you cannot have a sweet and wholesome about unless and admit the air and sunshine fill each your rooms, so a strong body and a bright, happy, and serene contentness can only result from a free admittance into the mind of thoughts of joy and goodwill and serenity. On the faces of East, there are wrinkles made by the symphony, others by strong and pure thought, and others are carved by passion. Who cannot distinguish them? Whether those who have lived righteously, East is calm, peaceful, and softly mellowed, like in a setting sun. I have recently seen a philosopher his deathbed. He was not old except in years. He died as sweetly and peacefully as he had lived. There is no physical like in a Chopazah for this painting. The use of the body there is no comfort to compare with goodwill for dispersing the shadow of grief and sorrow. To live continuously in thought of a will, cynicism, suspicion, and envy is to be combined in self-made prison hole. Self-made prison hole. But to think well of all, to be cheerful withal, to patiently learn to find the good in all, such unselfish thoughts are the very portals of heaven, and to dwell day by the day of thoughts of peace toward every creature will bring abundant peace to other possessor. Thought and purpose. Until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. With the majority of work of thought is allowed to drift upon the ocean of life. Aimlessly is a vice, and such drifting must not continue for him who would steer clear of catastrophe and destruction. They who have no central purpose in their life fall an easy prey to pre-worries, petty worries, fears, troubles, and self-pityings, all of which are indication of weakness, which lead just as sure as deliberately planned sins, though by a deep route, to failure, unhappiness, and loss. For weakness cannot persist in a power-evolving universe. A man should conceive of a legitimate purpose in his heart and set out to accomplish it. He should make his purpose in a centralizing point of his thoughts. It may take the form of a spiritual ideal, or it may be a worldly object, according to his nature at the time being. Whichever it is, he should steadily focus his thought forces upon the object he had set before him. He should make this process his supreme duty and should devote himself to its attainment, not allowing his thoughts to wander away into ephemeral fancies, longings, and imagining. This is the royal road to the self-control and true concentration of thought. Even if he fails again and again to accomplish his purpose, as he must until weakness is overcome, the strength of character gained will be the measure of his true success, and this will form a new starting point for the future power and triumph. Those who are those who are not prepared for the apprehension of a great purpose should fix their thoughts upon the faultless performance of their duty, no matter how insignificant their task may appear. Only in this way can the thoughts be gathered and focused, and the resolution and energy be developed. Once this is done, there is nothing which may not be accomplished. The weakest soul, knowing its own weakness and believing this truth, the strength can only develop by effort and practice, will, thus believing, at once begin to exert itself, and adding effort to effort, patience to patience, and strength into strength, will never cease to develop, and will at least grow divinely strong. As the physically weak, man can make himself as strong by careful and patient training. So the man of weak thoughts and can make them strong by exercising himself in a right thinking. Oh yeah, that's true. To put away aimlessness and weakness and begin to think with a purpose is to enter the ranks of those strong ones who only recognize failure as one of the pathways to attainment, who make all conditions serve them, and who think strongly, attempt fearlessly, and accomplish masterfully. Having conceived of his purpose, a man should mentally mark out a straight pathway to its achievement, looking neither to the right nor left. Thousand fears should be rigorous excluded. There are disintegrating elements which break up the straight line of effort, rendering it crude, ineffac- ineffectual, useless. Thus of doubts and fear can never accomplish anything. They always lead to failure purpose, energy, power to do, and all strong thoughts and seeds when doubt and fears creep in. The will to do springs from the knowledge that we can do. Doubt and fear are the great enemies of knowledge, and he who encourages them, who does not slay them, thwarts himself in every step. He who has conquered the doubt and fear, he conquered the failure. Oh, his every thought is allied with the power and all difficulties and bravely met and overcome. His purpose is seasonably planted, and they bloom and bring forth a fruit that does not fall prematurely to the ground. Though allied fearlessly to purpose becomes a creative force. He who knows this is ready to become something higher and stronger than the bundle of wavering thoughts and fluctuating sensation. He who does this has become the conscious and intelligent builder of his mental powers. The thought factor in achievement. Although the man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct result of his own thoughts. In a justly ordered universe, where loss of equipoise will remain total destruction, individual responsibility must be absolute. A man's weakness and strength, purity and impurity, and his own and not another man's. They are brought about by himself and not by another, and they can only be altered by himself, never by another. His condition is also his own and not another man's. His suffering and his happiness are evolved from within. As he thinks, so is he. As you continue to think, so he remains. That's true. How can I stop my thinking pattern? I really want to try to commit my equanimity. Equanimity, this is a new lesson, right? Okay, so a strong man cannot help a weaker unless the weaker is willing to be helped. And even then, the weak man must become strong by himself. He must, by his own efforts, develop the strength which he admires in another, not by himself and cannot his condition. It has been unusual for men to think and to say, many men are slaves because one is an oppressor. Let us hate an oppressor. But there is a most and increasing few tendency to reverse this judgment and to say, one man is oppressor because many are slaves. Let us despise the slaves. The truth is that oppressor and slaves are cooperators in ignorance, and while seemingly afflict each other, are in reality afflicting themselves. A perfect knowledge perceives in the action of law in the weakness of the oppressed and the misapplied power of oppressor. A perfect love, seeing the suffering which both states entail, condemn the neither. A perfect compassion embraces in both oppressor and oppressed. He who has conquered weakness and has pushed away all selfish thought belongs neither to oppressor nor oppressed. He is free. A man can only rise, conquer, and achieve by lifting up his thoughts. He can only remain weak, abject, and miserable by refusing to lift up his thoughts. Before a man can achieve anything, even in worldly things, he must lift his thoughts above a slavish animal indulgence. He may not, in order to succeed, give up all animality and selfishness necessary, but a portion of it must, at least, be sacrificed. A man whose first thought is an bestial indulgence and could neither think clearly nor plan methodically. He could not find and develop his latent resources and would fail in any undertaking. Not having begun to manually control his thoughts, he is not in position to control affairs, and to adopt serious responsibilities. He is not fit to act independently and stand alone, but he is limited only by the thoughts that he chooses. There can be no progress nor achievement without sacrifice, and a man's worldly success will be by the measure that he sacrifices his confused animal thoughts, and fixes in his mind the development of his plans, and the strengthening of his resolution and the self-reliance. The higher he lifts his thoughts, the greater will be his success, the more blessed and enduring will be his achievement. The universe does not favor of greedy and dishonest and vicious, although on the mere surface it sometimes may appear to do so. It helps the honest and the magnanimous and virtuous. All the great teachers of ages have declared this in varying ways, and to prove it and to know it, a man has but to persist in making himself increasingly virtuous by lifting his thoughts. Intellectual achievements are the result of thought consecrated to the search of knowledge or for the beautiful and the true in nature. Such achievements may sometimes be connected with vanity and ambition, but they are not the outcome of those characteristics. They are a natural outgrowth of long and arduous effort and of pure and unselfish thoughts. Spiritual achievements are the consummation of holy aspirations. He who lives constantly in the conception of noble and lofty thoughts, who dwells upon all that is poor and selfless, will, as surely as the sun reaches its zenith and the moon is full, become wise and noble in character, and rise into a poison of influence and blessedness. Achievement of any kind of a crown of effort and the diamond of thought by aid of self-control, resolution, purity, righteousness, and the well-directed thought man ascends by the aid of animality, indulgence, impurity, corruption, and confusion of thought, and man descends. A man may rise in high success in the world, even to lofty attitudes in a spiritual realm, and again descend into weakness and wretchedness by allowing arrogant, selfish, and corrupt thoughts to take a position of him. Victories attained by right thought can be maintained only by watchfulness. Many give way when success is assured and rapidly fall back into failure. All achievements, whether in the business, intellectual, or spiritual world, are the result of definitely directed thought, are governed by the same law, and are the same method. The only difference is in the object of attainment. He who would accomplish little need sacrifice little. He would achieve much must sacrifice much. He who would attain high must sacrifice greatly. Visions are idols. The dreamers are the deceivers of the world. As the visual world is sustained by invisible, so men that all their trials and sins and their sordid vocations are nourished by beautiful visions of their solidity dreamers. Humanity cannot forget as the dreamers, and cannot let their ideas fade and die, lives in them, and knows them as the realities which it shall one day see and know. Composer, sculptor, painter, poet, prophet, sage, these are the makers of the afterworld and the architects of heaven. The world is beautiful because they have lived. Without them, laboring humanity would perish. He who cherishes a beautiful vision and love the idea in his heart will one day realize it. Columbus cherished a vision of another world, and he discovered it. Copernicus fostered his vision of multiplicity of worlds in the wider universe, and he revealed it. Buddha beheld the vision of a spiritual world of saintliness, beauty and perfect peace, and he entered into it. Cherish your visions, cherish your ideals, cherish the music that stirs in your heart, the beauty that forms in your mind, the loveness and the traps in your purest thoughts. For out of them will grow all delightful conditions, all heavenly environment of these. If you but remain true to them, your world will at last be built. To desire to obtain, to aspire, is to achieve. Shall man's wish desires to receive the fullness measure of gratification, and his purest aspiration starve for lack of sustenance? Such is not the law. Such a condition can never obtain. Ask and receive. Dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, so shall you become. Your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. Your ideal is the prophecy of what you shall at last unveil. The great achievement was at first and for the time a dreamer. The ox sleeps in the acorn, the bird waits in the egg. And in the highest division of soul, awaken anguish doors. Dreams are the tyranny of realities. Your circumstances may be uncongenial, but they shall not remain so if you only perceive an ideal and strive to reach it. You cannot travel with it and stand still without. Here is a youth hard pressed by poverty and labor. confined to long hours in unhealthy workshop, unschooled and lacking all the arts of refinement. But he dreams of better things. He thinks of intelligence or refinement or grace and beauty. He conceives of, mentally builds up, an ideal condition of life. The wider liberty and a larger scope takes an acquisition of him. Unrest urges him to action, and he uses all his spare times and means to the development of his latent powers and resources. Very soon, so out of his mind become that in a workshop can no longer hold him. It has become so out of harmony with his mindset that it falls out of his life and a garment is cast aside. And with the growth of opportunities that fit the scope of his expanding powers, he passes out of it altogether. Years later, you see this usage in a grown man. We find him a master of sudden forces and a mind that is ruled with worldwide influence and almost unequaled power. In his hands and he holds and crafts and gigantic responsibilities. He speaks and lives and are changed. Men and women hang upon his words and remold and characters. Sunlike, he becomes an fixed and luminous in a center around which innumerable destinies revolve. He has become the vision of his youth. He has become one with his ideal. And you too, useful reader, we realize the vision, not just in an eager wish of your heart, be it basic or beautiful, or a mixture of both. For you will always gravitate toward the which you secretly must love. Into your hands will place any exact results of your own thoughts. You will receive that which you earn, no more, no less. Whatever your present environment may be, you will fall, remain, or rise with thoughts, your vision, your ideal. You will become as small as your controlling desire, as great as your dominant aspiration. The thoughtless and ignorant and indolent, seeing only apparent facts of things and not the things themselves, talk of luck, of fortune, and chance, seeing a man grow rich as they say, how lucky he is. Observing another become skilled intellectually, they exclaim how highly favored he is. And nothing the saintly, carried in a wide influencing of another in their remark, how chance helps him in it at every turn. They do not see the trials and follies and struggles which these men have encountered in order to gain their experience. They have no knowledge of sacrifices they have made, of the undaunted efforts they have put forth, of the faith they have exercised so that they might overcome the apparently insurmountable and realize the vision of their heart. They do not know the darkness and the hardships. They only see light and joy and a holy luck, do not see the long, arduous journey, but only behold a present goal, a pleasant goal and a holy good fortune. Do not understand the process, but only perceive the result, and just call it chance. Beautiful. Just call it chance. My gosh. Do not understand, do not understand the process, but only perceive the result, and call it chance. In all human affairs there are efforts, and there are results. Our strength of effort is the measure of the result. Change is not. Gifts, power, material, intellectual, and spiritual possessions are the fruits of effort. Their thoughts completed, objectives achieved, visions realized. Oh my gosh. The vision that you clarify in your mind. The ideal. The you answer in your heart. This you will build your life by. This you will become.